Hello and welcome to Modern Mondays, where I take a look at a movie from the 2000s and I give it a review. And this week we are finishing up the Fantastic Four duology with Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Oh, why was it so rough watching it this time? I watched this several times before and never had many problems with this, but now, because I'm watching it for the first time with a critical eye. Oh boy, there's so many. Oh, there's problems. So what's the story? The story is the Silver Surfer has come to Earth. He's the herald of Galactus. And when Galactus gets here, he's going to swallow the Earth, basically. And, well, it's more of a background story because we gotta worry about Reed and Sue's wedding, and we gotta have Dr. Doom come back, and we gotta worry about, Sue doesn't want Reed doing the science because we gotta worry about the wedding. Oh, but the science is gonna save the world. Who the fuck cares? Our wedding is more important. And Sue and Reed are getting married. Oh, they might have children. Oh, the Fantastic Four might not be a thing. Oh no, now Johnny and Ben are worried that there won't be a crime-fighting team. What crime have you fought? Seriously. Talk about this part, okay? So, Johnny overhears a conversation between Reed and Sue about how they want to start a family, have kids, stuff like that. And that they don't want to fight crime anymore. But they don't do the crime fighting. The first part of this film with them has them preparing for a wedding. They make this film all about a goddamn wedding, which in sight could have taken up the first 5 minutes of your film. They get married, boom, that's all you would have had to do. But no, they have repeatedly said that they've tried to do this way before and couldn't do it. Now they're doing it again. It doesn't work. And then they worry about freaking the wedding through most of the film. They even have a scene where Reed is dancing with strippers, and apparently it's a bad thing. It's his bachelor party. Leave him the fuck alone, lady. Anyway, he's tasked to make this satellite that can track the Silver Surfer so they can try to stop him. He says no because Sue says no, the wedding is more important, but he still builds the thing anyway. And then Sue has the audacity to get pissed at him for it. He's trying to protect the world, woman! Come on! And then you have the movie ends with their wedding finally, and it still doesn't, they get married, but they kind of rush it because they have to go and save the world again. And all intents and purposes, that should have been the beginning of this film. Is they're at the wedding, somebody has to go, we gotta go. So they do the wedding really quick, and they leave. That's how it should have started. But they focus on this wedding so much that it's fucking annoying. You have Galactus coming to Earth to eat Earth, basically. Another thing that gets me is that they just, this time watching it, I felt like I sort of mentioned this in the first one, you didn't need to have Dr. Doom in this film. I know they had a mid-credit scene thing or whatever in the first one that set him up, but you could have waited for a third film for that. Put more focus on Galactus. The animated series did a better job with Galactus and the Silver Surfer. In this film, it is Sue who changes the Silver Surfer's mind, which is fine, but in the animated version, it was Alicia. Because during a fight with the Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer gets knocked down to Earth. And he's found by Alicia, who takes care of him. And he sees that humanity isn't bad, that there's good in humanity, and that encourages him to fight against Galactus. And that's a better story than just, he likes Sue because she reminds him of his wife that is dead. Also, let's talk about the big cloudy elephant in the room, Galactus. You see a nice shape when he goes over a planet when he's coming on the way to Earth, but he's a big fucking cloud. Come on. You're telling me you're going to do Galactus and not have someone play Galactus? Like, I was wondering who's going to play Galactus. You got Doug Jones and Larry Fishburne doing the Silver Surfer. Doug Jones did the motion capture. Larry Fishburne did the voice. That's something, you know? But Galactus has no presence other than he's a giant fucking cloud. That's it. I remember being in the theater watching this and being like, oh no, that's stupid. Because Galactus, the Galactus storyline in the animated series was one of my favorite storylines. Because they did it so well. Even when he came back in the animated second season, they did a good job. Oh, speaking of which. So, speaking of animated versions, in that version, Johnny falls in love with a woman named Frankie, who becomes sort of a second Human Torch, and eventually the third Herald, at least in the animated series. There's Silver Surfer, there's some other dude, and then when they defeat him, she becomes his Herald, so that he doesn't come back to Earth again. And yeah, and that's kind of a sad story because they're in love, but they can't be together because she's Galactus' Herald now. They use Frankie in this. She's a military personnel, and she has a sort of romantic thing with the Torch. He flirts with her, and she's at Reed and Sue's wedding at the end, where he sets the bouquet on fire because she's about to catch it. She's a background character for most of the film. In fact, when I first watched this, several times I've watched this and did not notice that was her until this time when they said her name was Frankie. And I went, fuck you. Because I did not realize till now that was Frankie, the Frankie, who has a big connection to the Silver Surfer storyline and the Galactus storyline. And you make her a fucking background character. Either the other TV, fuck you, no way. Oh, this movie. And Doctor Doom. Why is he needed? Galactus is a big enough enemy. You don't need... It's like I was saying with Sharknado. You don't need another antagonist. Like in the last Sharknado, right? The Sharknadoes are bad enough antagonists. You don't need to add another one to it. Galactus was big enough. But you gotta add Doctor Doom into it. Because you teased him at the end of the last one. You could have left that for the third film, potentially. If you had actually put more focus into the fighting bad guys, Galactus stuff in this film, except for trying to play the comedy. Oh yeah, there's this thing where, because Johnny had an interaction with the Silver Surfer, he can now switch powers with members of the other members of the Fantastic Four. Like he turns invisible, his shoe is on fire, or when Ben touches him, he becomes this big hulking thing, and Ben is back normal except for a little fire and stuff. And you could have some good storytelling with this. What do? They play it for laughs. Well, I'm on fire! You're on fire. You think? And you and me were gonna be a lot close, or something with the dang it. And then even when they're trying to save the world, and this baffles me almost this time. Johnny fucks up, bumps into Reed when he's trying to hold the London Eye to stop it from falling. Right, the big Ferris wheel. And so it comes undone. So what Reed, being smart, now having the torch powers, tells Ben, lift it up higher, so he can then use the fire to weld it back on there so it doesn't fall over. One, why didn't he tell Johnny to do that instead of telling him to stay away? He's like, you stay away, because, they're running. But he could have said, Johnny, do a thing to weld it. Reed is smart. I thought that was really smart, but then I'm like, why didn't they tell Johnny to do that instead of just having him bump into him? They play it for comedy. And sometimes the comedy is good, sometimes it's... Like, the comedy from the first film was fine. Here, you're in a situation, you guys should do some character-driven stuff with this. Oh, he can't touch anyone else to take their abilities like that. And they do come around to that when he takes all their abilities and fights off Doctor Doom. But like I said, Doctor Doom should not have been a villain in this film. You could have waited for a third film. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's not necessary. Is there anything good in this? Yeah, I think Lord Fishburne does a good job as the Silver Surfer. They portray how he's trying to figure out humanity, but they really don't do it right. The actors, for the most part, play their roles like they did in the first one. That's fine. I always like Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis' back and forth in these films. It's always really good. Added CGI is iffy, but it's just 2000s. Other than that, this really didn't hit well with me this time, if you see how I'm feeling about this. I'm going to give it a 5. Yeah. Considering I give the other ones such a good score, this is a 5 for me. It's just, it really got me this time. And this one gets a 5. Eventually I'm going to do Fanforstic, and we're going to see how that one fares, but this one really just kind of went downhill for me. So what are your thoughts on Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.